I mean, one thing I think is just so important is to believe in yourself. Because if you believe in yourself, everybody else is going to believe in you and trust you. Um, that's a big thing I've learned with what we're doing is I have to believe what I'm doing is right and real and honest.
Hey everybody, and welcome to my show. My name is Tiffany Alexander. I am so excited you're here today. Can I just tell you a minute about me? I love people. I can't get enough of people. And by golly, there are some stunning, amazing people in the world that are doing incredible things. And by golly, whenever I get to hang out with them, I immediately am thinking to myself, how do I get to know more people like you? But also, by the way, I know a ton of people that you need to know. And so it's just become this like abundant referral chain of people that I get to hang out with. And then I want so bad for them to be heard bigger and more. That's why the show was born. I want everybody to know all the people that I know somehow or another. And with that, a phenomenal guest for you today. I'm so excited. We got introduced to each other from a mutual friend, and they were like, "Yeah, you guys should know each other." Hands down, the best idea ever. So, with that, Brianna, I'm so excited to have you on the other side of the world, hanging out with me today, and tell everybody a little bit about you and kind of what you're up to.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so happy that we met too, Tiffany. I'm Brianna. I live in Zimbabwe. I moved to Africa 4 years ago. I moved to South Africa first. I walked in with my big German Shepherd Weiler dog Max, and I came out with a husband and a baby and two stepkids and switched countries. And I actually grew up in Los Angeles. But yeah, I'm here. I'm running a nonprofit called Abundant Village and a production house called Move Me Studio. So we create inspiring media that compels action. And then, of course, we film everything that we do with the nonprofit to make sure that the world can see all of these untold, beautiful stories and the stories of the voiceless and those unheard voices around the world. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the stuff that you're doing, the work that you're doing, I mean, apart from like leaving your known land to just like travel and then end up here and start a family that's phenomenal. The the impact that you're making with what it is you're able to do, tell me a little bit more about that because when you were telling me about it but earlier, it was so phenomenal and I need people to know more.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know I love what we do too. I'm so passionate about this work. I basically So yeah, during the pandemic, I had one of those, good old visions, get out of here, go. And I did. For years before that, I had been traveling quite a lot and I ended up on the top of this mountain in Bali, actually, where I had this overwhelmingly spiritual, incredible, life-changing moment where I felt like I was levitating. There was, of course, this black prehistoric bird that was also sent in front of me to make sure that I was listening. There was this 300-foot waterfall, and it was like I could just see the invisible for a minute. Like everything was tangible. It was like a Rubik's cube, those just clicking into place, everything. And I found what I called God on that mountain that day. It wasn't tied to religion or any books or anything, but I knew that there was something there, and it was about to guide me on a new path. And that week, I actually got guided to riding on the back of an elephant, which is where I learned about the abuse of elephant in tourism camps. I know everybody always smiles when I first say that because they think it's going to be this like, elephants and wow, amazing. But no, unfortunately,
Yeah,
I
that
learned that
stuff
we
is
are,
terrible. Like
I, I mean,
yeah, it's heartbreaking.
I know, and I, like everybody else, thought, well, thank God I did it because it's again, it changed everything. But I, like everybody, thought I was just a part of this, place and going to meet and be with elephants. And I learned that they were being broken and beaten and, tortured basically for human consumption. And I was a part of it. So, yeah, I knew I needed to do something about it. I didn't know where this was going to lead me, but it led me straight into the poaching crisis in Africa. And I spent time trekking with mountain gorillas and back and forth to Indonesia and orangutans and wild elephants. And it was just like the most unreal years of my life, actually. And just being young and single at the time, right? Like just that kind of which by the way, I'm happy I'm married now. I'm in love with my husband. But I say it in that period of those 20s where you're just like, anything's possible. The unknown is just the curiosity is everywhere. And I just was off with me in my backpack, like just trekking and going for months at a time. Um, so yeah, all of that led me to this baby elephant named Selma that was caught in a poacher's snare trap, and she died. And she taught me that if we don't heal humans, we'll never be able to heal animals, let alone the planet. And that for me is what introduced, Abundant Village. That is what made me want to create this place for human healing, this place for, how do we poverty is such a thing. Most of the world is in survival mode. I mean, I don't know if you've spent a lot of time traveling, but you'll see in so many developing countries, like, what, how is this the way the world is right now, right? So yeah, I always thought, like, if someone's suffering, they can't dream. If they can't dream, then how are they living? And then this kid recently actually taught me I've been suffering my whole life, and that's what actually made me able to dream. And I was like, dang, eh. Yeah, all of our perspectives are so interesting, how different they are, right? But yeah, Abundant Village became this place where how do we get kids out of get the basic human needs met, basically get the basic human needs met so that they can start dreaming, get water, food, energy, get childcare, education, job opportunities that can be created in these areas. And how do we do that? We have to train, mentor, inspire. We have to work with communities. It has to be their initiatives. Everything's locally led by the end of all of our projects, especially. And it needs to be a community driven initiative from the start. Um, so yeah, I just feel like, from where it started and to where it is now, I can't even tell you. I mean, the vision's still there, but it is transformed so much. And I have the most amazing team, small team. And we work so well together, and we're just so interested in breaking generational trauma and working on that, like, holistic grassroots human level with people to feed their souls, basically, not literally just with gardens and stuff, but actually feed their souls and show and share what life can look like.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. And that I love the way it happened, your
Yeah.
like journey of the story. And by the way, there's more of that because it's you have
Yeah.
such a fun story. It's
Yeah.
like,
No, I'm
okay,
sure I rambled on to ask any questions. Go
no,
ahead.
I love it. I love it so much. So let's do this though, because I want to unpack your whole story.
Yeah.
Let's start from the beginning. Like, I know you said, like, where are you from and raised, and what was that like growing up and deciding like what you wanted to do, and then like, would you end up like having as your like first line of careers, or would you go to school for kind of all of that fun stuff in the beginning?
I love it. Okay. Yeah. So I grew up in Los Angeles. My whole family actually is in the entertainment business. My dad is a very successful actor, Greg Evigan. My mom was ballerina, where they grew up in New York and New Jersey. She was a model, then she became a manager. Brother's a music producer, sister's an actor as well. And I apparently on video have a video of me saying I wanted to be a dentist when I was 6 years old or something, which is not true. I'm not a fan at all. But I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was going to grow up when I was little, and that question always actually bothered me when I was little. I had no idea, and I always felt this pressure at school, and I did end up at a private school to have to go to college and have to do this and that, and I honestly I couldn't afford it. So when I got into Marymount College, which was like the 2-year version of the 4-year version. I was
Yeah,
not the most academic. I was a struggle to get through high school, put it that way. And I feel like education should be categorized as something different than school. let's
100%.
let's do
Yeah.
that, right? Um, but luckily I couldn't afford it because I did end up at City College. And I actually just coached this week with my coach from City College, who I haven't talked to in like 15 years, really. And his name is Josh Miller. He really saw something in me, and he made me join the speech and debate team.
I
And
love
I was
that.
like, yeah, this is not going to be my thing. Speech and debate, like, what? I was a cheerleader, dancer, soccer player, all the opposite. And I fell in love with it. And I'm so glad that he found me and brought me into it. And I think it's probably what actually got me into acting. Because I got to play all these different characters, and I played Veronica Guerin, the Irish woman that helped stop drug abuse in Ireland, all these different pieces. And I started winning, and it just felt really, really good. And I felt smart for the first time, which I never felt it. So it was really, really special to be seen like that by somebody finally. So I love that man for doing that. And yeah, I got Step Up, the dance film, when I was on the speech and debate team, probably 2.5 years in or so. So I left college and carried on with the career and started booking film after film, and had a really, really nice career. And it was actually at 25 when I had these 3 consecutive dreams about Bali, and that's what led me to that mountain and led me to the elephants and everything. And at that time, I just felt very empty. Like my career was doing great. I was making a lot of money, and then I felt like everything was falling apart. Like my friends and I weren't great. My relationships were falling off quickly. I think I was just kind of felt like I was being an asshole, to be honest. I'm just gonna be straight. Like I wasn't. I don't even know who I was. You know what I mean? I was like just kind of getting pumped around and like led like a sheep everywhere and doing a press tour here and this and that and then another film and then I don't know. It was like not human. And that's the most honest way to put it. And I really needed to meet myself. And that's why when I went on that trip, I sure met myself. It was not an easy trip. And
No?
that's started
I mean, like,
started
leading up to the trip, or you were like, "I'm out, I'm gonna sell all my stuff?" Like, did you think it was gonna be a small trip or a
Yeah.
big trip?
Yeah. So that wasn't the big sell. The getting rid of everything was 4 years ago. So that was the beginning. That was the in the back of my mind, I hoped that a movie would bring me home, and it did. But I took off with a one-way ticket backpacking, and I was in Indonesia for I think 7 or 8 weeks. Um, and it was just lonely. Like it was a very lonely time trying to discover myself and be alone. Right? Like it's probably still one of the hardest things today. And I think the pandemic's brought a lot of loneliness to people as well. Uh, being just being. It's a loneliness is its own epidemic. So yeah, it was a hard trip, and then it turned out to be one of the best trips because it led
Right.
me to everything now that I've discovered, my relationships, my family, everything getting close, being able to leave. It was 10 years later. So I left at 35. So 25 to 35 were all these developing years of, all the things that I wanted to create. And then at 35, I got rid of the house, I got rid of the car, I kept my dog, and we got on a plane and we moved to
Wait,
South
let's
Africa
talk
together.
I wanna talk more about that. Like, what's leading up to that? 'Cause we just skipped, like, 10 years. Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
Oh, like, leaving booking a one-way ticket. Oh my gosh, like, you kinda get your house in order, like, I'm out, you know? And then, like, everybody's gonna take care of everything? I'm like, it freaks people out to think you could do something like that. But I did some crazy stuff in my 20s, which was
Did
phenomenal,
you?
would never take back. Um,
We're gonna have to
some of
meet up
those
and get all of that.
right,
I
right?
feel like we're gonna
I
have a
mean, it's
long
just the
friendship
best.
here too.
Quite honestly, leaving the United States is, like, the best thing you could do for yourself is, like, just seeing how privileged first world our problems are so small and negligible. Be like, "Well, what fast food am I gonna eat today?" Or, just something obnoxious versus, like, the true poverty or just the way people really live, and it's a very normal way of life that, I don't know, just it blew me away to leave the States, you know? So I can't
I
even
hear you.
imagine I haven't even been to India. I know it's kind of
Yeah,
the standard third world version of it and whatnot, even though it's beautiful, it's crazy.
I know,
Um,
right? Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
tell me
waiting.
about some of those feelings whenever you were going on this 10-year part of your journey.
Yeah. I mean, I think those 10 years too were such waves. There was such a focus was obviously I knew things were going to change on the acting side because I just didn't want to be doing projects that I didn't love anymore. Because it's great. It was great, and you get this family on set and all these things that I love, and I still miss those and want those things again. But I wasn't happy at the end of the day. And the things that were making me happy were these big traveling trips. So in between those 10 years, I spent time in the Losur, which is the last place where the tiger, elephant, rhino, leopard, and orangutan all live in the wild together, and the place is like almost gone because
Yeah,
of palm oil and human encroachment, all these horrible things. Um, so all of these trips, I just started trekking in like the jungle and this and following the gorillas, as I mentioned. And that was my happy place.
yeah,
Like the gorillas were a huge part of my life. Also, what drew me to my husband, who's my ultimate silverback gorilla now. I must say, I found the silverback gorilla I'd always been looking for. But sitting with those animals, the power of them when they sit up in front of you after you've been hiking for 8 hours and you find them, you're just like, whoa. And you get maybe 15, 22 minutes max in the wild where you get to just observe their whole world all of a sudden. And they're in the wild. This isn't a zoo. This isn't a sanctuary of any sort. They've never, it is pure magic. And it makes you look at yourself, everything, it's like, whoa, wow, this is so much bigger than us.
right. Uh,
what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing here? You know, I still ask myself all the time. Um, and that's why, yeah, when I see them, it makes a little bit more sense.
and
Yeah.
knowing, like, enough people that care enough or have that moment enough, we really can make a change instead of just being a cog in the system of this, wasteful society of things, right? Oh my
Hard to
goodness.
figure out. There's so much going on in the world. I don't know where to start with half of it. But what I can do is what I'm drawn to. Remember, like you asked, what were the feelings and the things? Stay with those things. Stay with what happened in those 10 years. Stay what happened when I was a kid. Do that work with myself. Do the inner child work. Connection stuff with people so that I can stay in that grounded world. Because that's when we create. That's when the artist comes back to life. That's when, and I say back to life because I go in and out of that too. Unfortunately, like most people probably. Um, yeah, but when we're in that state, that's when stuff's really happening. That's the little hot spot in life.
It's like connecting yourself back to the earth and understanding more of what your purpose is to, because I mean, our life is just a blip, in the system at all. But to be able to show up and care and get back connected all to that from your traveling is so fun.
Oh,
All right,
yes,
so
it is.
you get
Like,
so many years into this, or my itchy back, right? And then deciding to go from Indonesia, Bali, right? And then you left there, and why did you decide to leave from there? Because you were having a wonderful time, right?
full
You were like,
time.
"I think I'm gonna go to South Africa."
So yeah, so the poaching world became big. And I actually something that I had been into before that was human trafficking. And there's this amazing woman, Somali ma'am out there. She wrote a book called The Road to Lost Innocence. And that was another thing that had me going through Asia and in Cambodia. And I didn't spend too much time with it because, to be honest, it was too much. And there's a piece of me that actually thinks I can handle a lot because I had a really good childhood. So there's something where I'm able to enter because I'm not triggered and I'm not like light attracts dark, right? I'm definitely a light person. And I know that for a fact now. And I've seen all sorts of darkness come my way. But there's certain darkness that is like, whoa, what am I going to do about this? How am I like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing here? And I don't think it was with the human trafficking. I think I still end up in crazy situations around the world with stuff like that around people. But that is one of the things that weirdly enough, too, I was like, wow, how do I go to anti-poaching next from trafficking? Like these are such dark, dark things. Remember my therapist literally saying like, interesting that you've jumped from that to that. But the truth is that led me to who's now my husband. Because a friend introduced us and said, if you're going to make a movie around this and be in the developing world of what the character I wanted to play next, she's like, you got to meet Damien Mander. He's like the female version of you, or the male version of you. You're the female version of him. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So we all went to lunch in Los Angeles at a place called Gracias Madre, which a bunch of people I'm sure know. And we became best friends for 6 years. And then we both had different lives. I was dating, trying to find the man of my dreams. He was married, and then he ended up going through a divorce. And when we both were finally single, he flew and met me in Cape Town, where I was editing a documentary of ours. And we were engaged within 2 months. I was pregnant probably the same week or before that, we don't know. And that's how I got the 3 kids in 1 year, two step kids and one baby myself.
Oh my gosh, I love
So
it.
yeah, so the anti-poaching stuff really actually led me to him, which again is so cool when you look at how all the stories in the path, and if you're just listening and walking it and like being true to yourself, what happens? I
Yeah,
didn't follow any guy off of da da da. I went and started my own companies in South Africa where I wanted to at stage 4 lockdown. I was like, no, forget this. I'm going to do what I wanted to do. And then boom, the man comes, boom, the baby comes like that. And I wanted those things. I
yeah.
wanted them. But I was tired of dating and waiting and this and that and chasing. And I hate chasing just in
Oh,
general.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
This has been such a phenomenal journey to be able to see, like, where you came from and, like, the how it led you all back to creating this phenomenal company that you have, and by all means, when you've had the incredible life that you had, it's like, why not just, like, kick up your feet and chill out, like, just enjoy what you've done and how, right? You have a great childhood. And some people might be wondering, and I wonder, like, why do you keep trying? Why do you keep showing up? Why do you care so much? What to keep going, right? Like you don't look like you're gonna plan on stopping.
Yeah. No. Well, I will say when you put all of your money into a couple of things, it definitely gives you an extra push of I'm going to do this. That's the materialistic surfacey thing that is real. Because a lot of people say don't put your money into it, if you and I may never get it back. And that's pretty cool. I'm not worried about it actually. I believe in this so much that at some point it'll either come back or I will have much greater successes in other ways that I'm not worried about. So yes, there is a need for fundraising in what we're doing and creating funds for myself again at some point. Um, and the other thing is I really believe, well, purpose is such a thing. So, and I get confused of how people live without it. And I think it's a scary place to live. I do. And I've had lots of people who commit suicide and all sorts of things. And it's always that purpose, like, fuck, if we just have that thing that makes you go extra because life is really hard sometimes. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not easy, right? I mean, this place is complex that we got thrown into to figure it out. So the purpose for me with the level of how I see what I want for human healing, it's like a tree's roots. I mean, I've never actually tried to explain this, I guess. So here it comes.
right.
It's um because nobody asks that very often, but it's so all the way rooted into the ground with so many layers of how much of a failure I would be to myself, which would be the most important thing. I could never let myself down with the messages that I've received of what I'm supposed to do while I'm here,
Yeah,
if that makes sense. You know what I mean? And like the roots that are so deeply embedded everywhere, and that they did start in Indonesia, but they did start me in Africa. Africa now, as we're here right now, is all of a sudden starting to take me back to some of these other places as we speak, which we could talk about more after. Uh, the purpose of human healing and connection has become so big, and the understanding that that will be the only thing that keeps us here because planet Earth will wipe us out whenever it wants to. And the animals, I cannot give up on them. I
yeah,
just can't. And I know that message was so loud from that baby elephant. And I spent such little time with her. It was, Big Papa upstairs, God, the source, the spirit, whatever you want to call it that you believe in, that yelled at me that day and told me what I was going to do here. So whenever I start to forget, whenever it gets dark, whenever I'm frustrated, whenever I'm tired, when I was breastfeeding and was like, babies, and like,
yeah. I remember that. That
you
was
don't,
hard times.
this will give you something else later. This will teach you this. This will show you this, keep going. And you know what? Give up when you need to. It doesn't mean you're giving up. Put your hands up, say, I'm done for a minute, walk away, come right back, sit down, stop. Listen, patience, all those things are just the tools that we need. And yeah, the more I work on myself and listen to this stuff and deal with my frustration and all my stuff, the easier the rest gets.
Right? Our little somewhat sometimes insignificant problems,
Yeah.
in that. But
Ah,
the cause that you have is so phenomenal, it's so great that some people are thinking, "Oh my gosh, I wanna help." Like, I wanna know more, like, how, um people have heard your heart right now and the journey that you're on, that you're not quitting, right? And that you're gonna keep going no matter what. They might be thinking, "I wanna find you. How do I get to know you more? How do I support everything that is you're doing?" Where do you want them to come find you?
awesome. Yeah. So something I will say just too with what we do, so anybody knows when they come to look at our stuff is one of our goals is to be donor launched, revenue sustained, and locally led because we know that donor fatigue is such a real thing. It's exhausting asking people for money. So everything that we want to do and anything you watch or look at or our documentaries or our pages, to just keep in mind that that's a huge thing behind who we are and creating all of these regenerative revenue streams to keep everything actually sustainable. Because I think the nonprofit world too is changing and how it's going to it's just shifting with AI and all the new things out there and technologies. So if you go to abundantvillage.world, that's our website. On there too is the media section and stuff. But if you go to Abundant Village YouTube, you can watch tons of videos and short films and stuff we've been creating. And then my page, Abundant Village is on Instagram, everything. Same with Brianna Evigan for Instagram. And my Facebook is gone, got hacked. So I know, just naughty situation. But Instagram, LinkedIn, Brianna Evigan, just my name, and then Abundant Village for all of the handles as well. And yeah, I'd love people to watch the short film, The Land Remembers, it's called. And then Circles of Connection is my other favorite one with what we've been up to the last year. And I'm just very proud of it. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, I'm very proud of it. And I think something we're looking for, obviously we're looking for funding, but the relationships and the networking that we could use globally is huge. That is one of the things that continued to open up every avenue. And if you saw something that you liked, pass it along.
I
It
love
might
it.
be the person sitting in that room, right? That has the capacity to take us to another level. And yeah, we are expanding. So we are about to move next year.
Yes. I
Yeah.
love that. I was just going to ask you what's on the horizon. Tell me more.
So we're going to be doing some recon trips to get into the ocean conservation. So we're looking at Indonesia, of course, as I continue to see what's happening in my dream world and all the other things. I don't mean that in a froofy way of like, oh, I'm just going to follow this and throw the whole organization into my dreams. But no, it's real to listen to these things as I've spoken about. So Indonesia, Tanzania, possibly Peru. These are again all ideas, concepts, exciting things we're talking about, and recon trips will be the first step up because we are going to start creating triangles to connect all the dots. Yeah,
You're already getting my wheels spinning. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't wait till we hit pause so I can give you my people already that I know I need to get you if I haven't yet. So I love this so
yeah,
much.
yeah. A lot's happened since the last talk too. I feel like so. It's
I
good.
know, I know.
It's awesome,
Um,
but it's
uh,
good.
so this is what's on the horizon. I'm so excited for all of this. Let's do this. This is my favorite last question I get to ask for the end of the
Yeah,
show is what are your words of wisdom, your nuggets you want to leave with everybody?
yeah. God, I wish I had more time to think about this one. It's probably better to answer on the spot. I mean, one thing I think is just so important is to believe in yourself. Because if you believe in yourself, everybody else is going to believe in you and trust you. Um, that's a big thing I've learned with what we're doing is I have to believe what I'm doing is right and real and honest. And that's how I get people to follow me, to trust the work that I'm going to keep doing and never stop doing. Now that I've moved all the way over here and done it. Um, Something else would just be yeah, I think it'd be almost more of a question, like how do you want to define how do you want to define the world that you live in and the story that you want to tell? And I saw something the other day about somebody having to write their own eulogy. And I spoke to this person and just it's really made me think uh, what that looks like ask ourselves, right? And I'm kind of in that phase right now of what it is that I want to leave here. That I don't mean legacy. I mean like for you. It's not about what you're leaving for everyone else. Like what do you want to know that you have left here. And I think for me, um, I think it's who my children see me as. Uh, and you can't just be perfect or great or these words they don't exist. It's who what does that look like in your child's eyes? So that's something that I'm thinking a lot about is the kid version of me that my child will respect and love, that my kid in me respects and loves too. I think that's a start. I don't know. Yeah, it's a
Those
big
so I bet
question.
we could go on for another hour about these words of wisdom. I mean, I would just spit them out like crazy. These are amazing ones.
I
The
can.
most important part of this is that you are accessible and that you are like going to keep pushing forward for this amazing journey that you're on and that there's going to be um, amazing people that are going to be supporting you in this and that if you're feeling right now you're listening to this like I want to be in you just reach out and you can catch up with her and see where she's at and then be a part of this journey and this mission too. Thank you so much for your time. I love being able to hear out your story and see just how much you care in your heart in this.
Thanks for
It's
putting me
phenomenal.
on.
Yes.
I really appreciate it. I've been looking forward to this all week. It was so awesome meeting you. Was it only a week ago? 2 weeks ago? It
I
was so
no,
awesome meeting you. It was like a 10 p.m. call for me too. I was just like hyped when I met you. So thank you.
Yes, I love it so much. Anyway, thank you guys for staying, for watching the episode, and then share and forward it to people that you know need to see this and need to care and can reach out and gain a new friend and support this cause. So I will see you guys on the next episode, and everybody have a good night. Bye.
Bye.